You're right there. Nicole's talking about 15,000 at the close for the Dow yesterday, still above it this morning. All of that said, our first guest on Markets Now says, calm down. Don't prepare for 16K just yet. Yudee Chang is chief trader at Ace Investment Strategists. And why the caution, Yudee?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you think about it, this market, basis S&P, since November, is up about 21% already, right? For the year, it's up about 14%. For the month of May, it's up a little bit over 2%. But if you look at the earnings itself, especially on the revenue side of it, we just don't have this kind of economy, this kind of earnings to support it. So I think on the short-term basis, I know everybody says this, but we truly believe in this. On the shorter-term basis, we just feel there's a little bit more risk than reward. We're talking about maybe over 3-to-1 risk-reward. So at this stage, I really think we should be cautious a little bit. The dips should be bought, but over the short term, just don't get too excited.
Now, I know, speaking of dips, that we haven't had a real pullback, you know, a 15, 20% pullback in this big bull run going back to the March 09 lows. And some people say, well, as you seem to be saying, we are due. But the other side of it, we've had a number of people come in here recently and say a couple things. A, the Fed continues to print money. And B, if you look at individual stocks, whether the Dow, I think, would be probably a good example. The 30 stocks in the Dow, you still see some decent valuations despite the run-up. And what do you say to that?
Yeah, no doubt. I think so, but that's on a slightly intermediate-term basis. The Fed is definitely behind the market, supporting the market. There's no doubt about that. But if you look at the seasonality factor, it's funny. This sell in May and go away thing is for real. Basically, study back to 1950s. This is over the 60 years now, right? So during this time frame of May to November, Dow Jones, you were mentioning it. On the average, the Dow Jones during this period is only up about 0.3% per year over the past 60 years, where the so-called November to April period is up about 7.5%. That's why, especially coupled with the fact that the market has run itself up so much already, we believe over the shorter-term basis, there really is a decent risk of about 5 to 7.5% pullback in this market.
I want to ask you about one other thing, Yudee, while we have you on. It's the topic that we often address with you while you are on with us. You've been coming on for years, and that's China. And we talk about the investment opportunities there and how the two countries, U.S. and China, can cooperate and what the new trends are. But now, and we're going to talk in detail about these hearings in Washington today, the cyber threat and the idea that the United States explicitly came out the other day and said that the Chinese government is behind some of these cyber attacks. Many people had suspected it, but to hear it publicly, does that change, in your view, and you look at this very closely, does that change the relationship economically and potentially in the financial markets between the U.S. and China?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think U.S. is stepping up its game, saying that this is, like you said, the first time officially it's making these accusations, saying that, wow, the cyber attack, you were doing it to our corporations, to the news media. Now you're doing it to our defense networks, and that's something that we just can't stand for, and hopefully we'll be sending a message to China. I think the inside word is that the Obama administration will be stepping up, maybe both politically and also, like you're saying, economically, a little bit of sanctions on China, trying to make them stop. But I don't think it's going to stop. I think our main problem with China is saying that not only you're spying on us, but you're using this valuable information industrially, and now you have the capability, like you said, to actually making attacks on our networks, and we just don't like that.
All right, Yudee Chang out of Washington, D.C. today, as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you.